A common mistake made by English learners is not paying adequate attention to pronunciation. Somehow they believe that pronunciation is not as important as other aspects of the language, such as grammar, vocabulary, and fluency. Contrary to this belief, pronunciation is quintessential for effective and efficient communication in English. A speaker with bad pronunciation is hard to understand and even unpleasant to listen to. Moreover, incorrect use of pronunciation inevitably leads to misunderstanding. So, if you don't have a clear pronunciation, people may find it difficult to understand you and you are often misunderstood by your listeners. Besides, your pronunciation is the first impression people get when you speak English. You may have extraordinary reading and writing skills, but people judge you by what they hear, and that's your pronunciation. If people find it tough to understand you, they generally form a negative opinion about your English and your overall personality. On the other hand, if you have good pronunciation, you create an impression and leave other people spellbound. Learning English as a second language can be a beautiful and rewarding experience. It opens a new window for you to view the world. It also opens new avenues for your personal and professional growth. However, it does come with its own set of challenges. Learning to pronounce an extensive number of words can be one of the trickiest parts of learning English. English is not a phonetic language. The letters and the sounds don't go together. There is a loose connection between the letters and the sounds. Some words are not pronounced as they are written. Two words written in exact same manner have different meaning and different pronunciation. So this makes English a tricky language to learn. But don't get bogged down. The good news is that these challenges can be overcome and the pronunciation can be mastered by following some handy tips. These tips will help you make rapid and considerable progress in terms of your English pronunciation. So before we go any further, I would suggest all English learners to decide on the accent they want to speak with. There are so many different accents in English: American, British, Australian, to name a few prominent ones. But the two most common are British and American pronunciation. There are so many different accents even in American and British English, but the most learning materials will help you learn either a standard American accent or a standard British accent. So now let's go over some of the tips that will help you to make improvement in your English pronunciation skills. First of all, you must understand syllables. Syllable is an integral part of English pronunciation. Unless you don't understand syllable, you will continue to make mistakes in word stress and pronunciation. So what is syllable? Every word in English is made up of syllables or parts, which makes it easier to pronounce. And every non-silent vowel sound in a word is a syllable. For instance, the word English is made up of two syllables, ing plus lish. In English, all syllables are not created equal. In any word with more than one syllable, there will be one syllable that is going to be stressed or emphasized above the rest. And it is absolutely must for you to identify the stressed syllable in order to pronounce a word correctly. Stressing wrong syllable can make a word unrecognizable because it doesn't follow the expected pattern. So how do we identify the stressed syllable in a word? So there is no rule as such. Lot of listening to English and being aware of it will intuitively tell you which syllable in a word to be stressed. I recommend using a dictionary to identify a stressed syllable in a word. Stressed syllable is usually shown as through capitalization or prime symbol. Prime symbol is going to come right before the stressed syllable. Putting stress on the right syllable is an integral part of pronunciation and intonation of spoken English, and it is indispensable if you want to speak good English. Awareness is the first step in the process of bringing about a change. So become aware of how your articulators, lips, tongue, jaws move and how their movement make you sound when you speak English. If you are aware of these things, you can change them. But if you aren't aware of these things in the first place, you won't have the control that's needed to bring the change. Recording yourself is the wonderful way to become aware of your English pronunciation. So record yourself and then listen to it. This exercise will help you identify your problems, and once you are aware of your problems, you can work on it to improve your pronunciation skills. Listening to English is indispensable if you want to enhance your English pronunciation skills. But don't listen to everything that is in English. Listen to only genuine and authentic materials when you are in learning mode. Listen to English language broadcast and podcast. Watch English movies, news and TV shows. Those who improve their pronunciation do so by listening to experts. Native English speaker, news anchor and English movies are unlikely to make pronunciation mistakes, so you should always follow these resources. Practicing tongue twister is a wonderful technique to practice and improve your English pronunciation skills. Tongue twisters seem extremely challenging in the beginning, but the more you do them, the easier they get. Plus, you inevitably transfer the precision in your everyday speech if you practice them regularly. Reading aloud is another wonderful way to practice and improve your English pronunciation skills. Reading aloud reinforces your confidence in uttering unfamiliar sounds and sound combinations. When you read out loud from a book or a newspaper, you speak a variety of sounds, and in the process, your vocal organs, lips, tongue, jaws, and throat get exercised in ways not exercised before, which makes your voice clearer and your pronunciation better. One of the linguistic bad habits that everyone falls prey to is the longer they pronounce a word incorrectly, the harder it is for them to correct that behavior. The best way to combat this problem is to learn the pronunciation of a word the moment you come across it. Develop the habit of learning the meaning and the pronunciation of a word. There are umpteen words in English that are not pronounced as they are written. As English is not a phonetic language, the letters do not correspond one-to-one with the sounds. So when you come across a new word, the worst thing you can do is to try to guess how to say it or use the sounds in your native tongue to say the word. You must avoid this. Always refer to a reliable resource to learn the correct pronunciation of every new word you come across. With all these tips, now you have a clear roadmap to move ahead on your journey to the clear English pronunciation. Always remember, enhancing pronunciation skills entails efforts, persistence, awareness, and physical skills. Never ever be perfectionist. Be focused, persistent, and patient, and you will realize that your pronunciation skills improve over time. Every moment you put in will contribute to improve your English pronunciation skills and make you sound like a native English speaker. So this brings us to the end of today's video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in my next video. Until then,